Meghan Markle's newfound quiet on the royal family isn't a truce, it's a strategic retreat. For years, the airwaves were dominated by a steady drumbeat of revelations and accusations from the Sussexes, creating a seemingly endless storm of controversy. But recently, that storm has passed. The public attacks have largely stopped, replaced by a curated world of artisanal jams, a new lifestyle brand, and carefully managed public appearances. While some speculate about a newfound peace, insiders suggest this quiet is a calculated move in a much bigger game. This isn't a white flag of surrender. According to royal commentators, this is a pivot, a total recalibration of a global brand. So what's the real reason Meghan dialed down the public attacks? The answer is way more complex and, according to some, more strategic than you might think. We're going to break down the competing theories, from a meticulously planned rebrand to a private, genuine desire for peace. To understand why Meghan's recent silence is so significant, you first have to remember the noise. Between 2021 and 2023, the Sussexes embarked on what many commentators called a scorched earth media strategy. It was a period defined by bombshells. First, the seismic interview with Oprah Winfrey in March 2021, where the couple laid bare their grievances with the monarchy. Then came Meghan's revealing interview with The Cut magazine, followed by her Archetypes podcast. While the podcast focused on the labels that hold women back, it often used her royal experience as a jumping-off point. The crescendo of this era was twofold. In December 2022, the Harry v. Meghan docuseries landed on Netflix, becoming one of the streaming giant's biggest documentary debuts. Just weeks later, in January 2023, Prince Harry's memoir, Spare, hit bookshelves, giving a deeply personal and raw account of his life and his fractured relationship with his family. This relentless pace kept the Sussexes in the headlines. But then, things began to change. The high-profile, accusatory interviews became a thing of the past. Now, to be clear, the silence has been relative, not absolute. The couple still subtly references their experiences. But the overt media war has noticeably subsided. The narrative has shifted from confrontation to creation, from looking back at the palace to looking forward to a life in Montecito. This has left royal watchers with a burning question. Why? What prompted this dramatic change in strategy? Was it a conscious decision, or did they simply run out of things to say? The answer seems to lie in a complex mix of personal desire and public strategy. The most prominent theory, favored by many PR experts, is that this silence isn't an emotional retreat, but a calculated business decision. It represents a strategic pivot designed to build a lifestyle empire centered around a new brand, American Riviera Orchard. First launched in March 2024, the venture is an ode to home, garden, and food, rooted in an aspirational California aesthetic. The rollout was subtle. An Instagram page, a vintage-style video of Meghan arranging flowers, and then, the first product, a batch of 50 strawberry jams sent out to friends and influencers. This is where the conflict with their previous media strategy becomes obvious. A brand built on the promise of a serene, beautiful life can't easily coexist with a public persona defined by perpetual grievance. The two narratives are fundamentally at odds. One sells peace and curated perfection. The other is rooted in drama. As some brand experts have noted, for Meghan to achieve maximum success, she needs to focus on consistency and credibility. This sentiment is echoed by commentators who believe the Sussexes realized their earlier strategy might have backfired. The constant criticism of the monarchy, while generating massive media attention, also brought significant backlash. After their Spotify deal ended, one executive, Bill Simmons, famously labeled them F grifters on his own podcast. That comment, while not an official company statement, highlighted the growing pressure to deliver on their remaining commercial ventures, especially with Netflix. Their partnership with Netflix has also been the subject of speculation. While the initial massive production deal from 2020 has produced several projects, reports in the summer of 2025 suggested the arrangement had been restructured into a less exclusive first-look deal. Building a successful lifestyle brand requires a positive, forward-looking narrative. It demands the founder be seen as an inspirational figure. Constant battles with the royal family are simply bad for that kind of business. From this perspective, the silence isn't a surrender, it's a rebranding. The attacks had served their purpose, to tell their story. Now, a new brand requires a new, quieter approach. While the business theory is compelling, a second, more personal explanation can't be dismissed. The silence could stem from a genuine desire for peace. The years of public conflict have undoubtedly taken a personal toll, and it's plausible they've simply reached a point of exhaustion. The entire aesthetic of American Riviera Orchard, which focuses on home, food, and finding joy in the everyday, suggests a shift toward a gentler pace. This aligns with reports from various sources claiming Meghan simply wants to move on, focus on her children, and build a future free from constant royal drama. This desire isn't entirely new. In her 2022 interview with The Cut, Meghan spoke about the power of forgiveness in a quote that now seems prescient. She said, "I think forgiveness is really important. It takes a lot more energy to not forgive, but it takes a lot of effort to forgive. I've really made an active effort, especially knowing that I can say anything." That last part is key, especially knowing that I can say anything. It frames her silence not as an inability to speak, but as ultimately, the real reason for Meghan's silence is likely a sophisticated blend of all these factors. It's a strategic recalibration, a pivot that serves multiple goals at once. This new approach seems to acknowledge that the previous strategy of open confrontation had reached its limits, with some commentators suggesting it was yielding diminishing returns. A key part of this may involve the couple's relationship with King Charles. Royal biographer Ingrid Seward has suggested that Meghan's quieter stance could be an attempt to win favor with her father-in-law. A cordial relationship with the monarch is crucial for the Sussexes' long-term standing and could provide a degree of stability for the whole family. With some reports suggesting King Charles has kept the door open for reconciliation, Meghan may be choosing diplomacy over defiance to preserve that fragile opening. This doesn't mean they've surrendered. Instead, they appear to have shifted tactics. The era of the bombshell interview has been replaced by the power of strategic silence. In public relations, silence can be a powerful tool. It creates mystery and forces the public to focus on what you are doing, like launching a new brand, rather than what you are saying about the past. PR expert Mark Borkowski has argued this very point, suggesting it's all by design. This isn't an identity crisis, it's a business model, he has said, adding, the product she's selling? Endless curiosity about Meghan Markle. This recalibration also addresses a fundamental challenge for the Sussexes. Their brand is tied to their royal status, yet their narrative has been one of escaping that institution. They need the titles for relevance, but they also need to build an identity independent of the family they left behind. This new strategy is an attempt to square that circle. By toning down the criticism, they lower the temperature with the royal family. At the same time, by focusing on their own ventures, they build a separate, forward-looking identity. It's a tricky balancing act, an attempt to have it both ways. So what do you think is driving Meghan's new chapter? Is it a brilliant business move, a genuine search for peace, or something else entirely? Let us know your theory in the comments below. So, what is the real reason Meghan Markle stopped attacking the royal family? The evidence suggests it is not a simple truce, but a multifaceted strategic pivot. The era of open warfare that defined the Sussexes' initial post-royal years has been replaced by a new, quieter, and more calculated phase. This shift appears to be driven, first, by the necessities of brand management. To build a successful lifestyle empire with American Riviera Orchard, Meghan needs to project an image of aspirational peace, a narrative completely at odds with perpetual conflict. Second, it likely reflects a personal recalibration. After years of public battles, a desire for a gentler pace seems genuine, allowing the family to focus on their future while Harry navigates his legal challenges. Finally, this is a strategic evolution. The Sussexes have seemingly recognized that a new tactic was needed. This new strategy involves using silence to build mystique, focusing on their own creative and commercial projects, and maintaining a delicate, if distant, relationship with the monarchy, particularly with King Charles. While Meghan herself hasn't explicitly stated her motives, the pattern of her actions points to a deliberate repositioning. Meghan Markle has masterfully rewritten her narrative before. The question now is, will this new chapter of strategic silence and curated lifestyle be the one that finally defines her legacy? And as the Sussexes build their empire in America, you have to wonder, What is the royal family's next move?